What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved Expert Mode. Oh yeah, guys. So I just got done making a few more of these flux crystals over here. I decided it was time that we should, make things about twice as fast as we were making them before. So yep, I went ahead and made some of these things, and apparently there's a sheep like right outside my wall there. So anyway, yeah, I just cooked up 16 of these transferred node energies. Yep, so we got those going over here. And yeah, what I'm in the process of doing right now is making a bunch more of these culinary generators. In fact, I don't have everything quite set up here, but here's 2 more stacks of pistons. We're going to need this many to go in here and those up here. I still need to make a few more furnaces. So what we can do is just come over to our handy dandy compacting drawer right there. We can get a stack of the double compressed, which will turn into 9 stacks of the compressed cobblestone, which is a heck of a lot of cobblestone. But since we're making it all of the time automatically, it's not a big deal. There we go. There's a stack of ferni. There we go. Now we got 2 full stacks of these culinary generators. Get crafted. Oh yeah. So we can take those and do the little circle-y circle thing like we do. And put these right in the center. And there is 16 culinary generator multiplier times 8. Oh yeah. So those are good. I've already made a few of these and I added them over at our power generation plant over there. Yeah, after the end of the episode, I set up our Ender Quarry with a ×2 power multiplier. So if we look at Ender Quarry, this thing right here, so we can add in the speed upgrades. So I made the power drain multiplier ×1, which is 2 speed upgrades and efficiency 1 diamond pickaxe, which I was able to auto craft using our auto enchanter thingy, not auto craft, but auto get the enchantment. And then, yeah, the Ender Quarry base upgrade, which is more QED stuff. So, yeah, we were able to get that. And then the tier 2, speed 2, requires an efficiency 3 diamond pickaxe, which, again, I got from the auto enchanter. Yeah, just put that on a diamond pickaxe, all this stuff, and then requires the speed 1 upgrade. So this is where we're at right now. I could have gone to the speed 3, but I still don't think our power production is right there where we want to completely destroy the amount of power that we are now generating. And in fact, guys, let's take a look at the map real quick. So our quarry did this portion last episode, right? Well, I put that speed upgrade, I think when I went to bed last night, it was about right here. And then I put that speed upgrade. When I woke up in the morning, this was completely done. So the speed upgrade ×2 really made this thing go much faster. So then I moved our marker that we had over here. I put that way over here. So now we're going to be doing this section. And it's already done a good portion of this. Now, something I've been noticing, though, is our quarry we had going into this ender chest. And the ender chest was sucking the items out and going into our storage drawers. Well, now that we're making items much faster, it's got a lot more stuff that it is currently sucking into the system. And it really feels like, again, more frame rate issues when this thing is putting a lot of stuff into the storage drawers. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me since, like, all of these things aren't really displaying the labels, and it's not like it's updating any numbers, but that's the way it feels. Like there's some kind of a client lag when it's going that fast and just, cramming that much stuff into the drawers. So I went ahead and I turned off the quarry, but yeah, let's fly over there real quick. Yeah, let's fly over here to the quarry real quick. Just check out like how much it's done. I bet it's done a good portion more than what it shows on the map. Been kind of AFK for a minute. Yeah, okay, so we got this section done over here. Yeah, that's a little bit bigger than what we showed before. So yeah, it's done a decent amount. So anyway, I've turned the quarry off because I felt like we're getting some lag, more FPS problems. And not only that, like we have a lot of resources right now, guys, like a lot. Let's go check out, for instance, how much iron we have right here in the storage drawer. We have 11,000 ores. Oh man, we still have to take these and process them. We don't really need that much at this time. Only 2,000 gold and 500 diamond. Redstone, we got a lot of too, 2,600 of those. Lapis, not very many. Coal is getting pretty high as well, almost 23,000 coal. Decent amount of copper and tin. Ferrous isn't that much because I keep taking the stuff and then induction smelting that with the cinnabar. Our silver is looking okay, and so is our lead. I did set up some more of these storage drawers over here to accept like sandstone and marble and limestone, andesite, diorite, granite, all of these things that chisel adds into 1.7 for us. And then I put the void upgrades on these things because I don't really care about keeping all of them. I did not put a void upgrade on the marble, and I probably should look at doing that. This drawer is about half full with the one emerald upgrade in there, so I should look at putting a void upgrade on that. But everything else pretty much has a void upgrade. And then like sand, for instance, this is being compacted into the double compressed sand, so we have a lot of sand here. But I think this can get up to about 20,000, or I don't know, something like that. I should look at putting void upgrades on those as well. But yeah, our resources right now is looking really, really good. Like if we sort by quantity, yeah, look at this. 127,000 sand. That's a lot. What are we gonna do with that? I don't know. Then we got the nuggets that look like it's really big, but those are, you know, in the compacting drawers here, so it's the same as like the ingot and the block or whatever. But yeah, we got lots of stuff right now, so I turned off the quarry. It feels like everything is much better frame rate around here, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so now that we got these culinary generators, I wanted to grab myself some of the redstone conduits, energy flux ducts. I keep thinking they are redstone conduits, because isn't that what they used to be called, like back in the day? Yeah, anyway, let me grab some of those. I wanted to grab some more pipes, I think. What are those called? Item ducts? Yeah, I think the impulse item ducts that we're using, I'm going to have to convert these over to the solid ones, the ones that don't display items. Let's go over to our power station, our new farm. In fact, you know what, guys? Somebody in the comments suggested that we should call it Wellington Towers since we're making beef Wellington. And I like that idea, so I changed our tag over here to Wellington Towers. I don't know if that's a name that, you know, this person just made up, or if that is a unique name that we should call this thing, but let me know what you guys think, if that's a good name or not. I like it. Wellington Towers sounds pretty awesome. Better than just saying, you know, our remote power generation plant station thing. Yeah, definitely sounds a little bit nicer. Okay, so anyway, here we are back at our power plant. And I did turn this off, so we're not getting as much lag from these things growing. This was going overnight, and we have collected lots of stuff here. In fact, it feels about the same as where it was yesterday, even though this was running overnight, making beef Wellingtons. I think we had about 30,000 beef Wellingtons in this deep storage unit. We're now up to almost 300,000. That is 10 times what we had before. That is crazy, guys. And I hooked up all these extra generators too. So this thing really can add a lot more. Like, we're not even touching the amount of power that we're producing here. So that's why I wanted to make 16 more of these culinary generators, so we can continue to make more power off this thing, since we are, you know, generating that much power, or potential power right here. Yeah, I think we are pretty much good to go. Now, another thing I didn't notice, or I didn't mention to you guys, I did go ahead and put in 4 rows of these pressers. And I think we saw at the end of the last episode, with 1 row of those pressers, it seemed like it kept one of these things going, right? So 1 row of pressers keeping one of these going. It almost felt like it was overflowing a little bit over here. So I would have thought that 4 more pressers would keep all 4, or I guess 3 more pressers would keep all 4 of these going. But no, it's like it keeps this one going, this one, then we get a little overflow over here. So in order to get this thing fully going, we need to add a few more rows of these pressers, and there's really not a lot of room to do that. I mean, I guess I could move this over a few blocks, and then I could squeeze in another row right here, but I don't know. I think for now we'll leave it. I can always upgrade this later, so that'll be something we can look at. What's in here? Dirt and marble. Oh, okay. Okay, the way this is also set up is I was extracting the firm tofu out of the bottom of these things, and I had them going over here into this chest. So we got like a little buffer here where this row and this row of the firm tofu all meet up here, and then that's part of the pipe network at this point. Instead of having, you know, what is that, like 20, 40 different things all being a part of the network, it's just pulling from one location on this side, and we got it mirrored on the other side, so it's just pulling from pulling from this one location on this side. So we got 2 points where it's pulling out the firm tofu, and then, yeah, we got the buffer chest here where we are putting the soybeans, and then we're just pushing that out to the top ones like we saw before. So that's pretty much all the same. So what I wanted to do here was rearrange this and get it so we hook up all these 16 different culinary generators, so we are making the maximum potential power that we can make, But yeah, let me go ahead and work on this for a minute, guys, and we will be right back. Cool, so I got all of the pipes switched out for these impulse item ducts, or at least where we can. There's some places we can't, but anyway, whatever. I hooked up the rest of our culinary generators and I got our power lines running over here. Now these redstone energy flux ducts can only output 8,000 RF per connection. So what I did is I set up 2 connection per each, I guess, 2 banks of generators. So yeah, each one of these cables is going to this tesseract into 2 places. We can actually make this into 3 places if we want to, because we got 2 available sides. But for right now, this is the way I am leaving it. So yeah, it turns out when I was replacing all these pipes that I did something wrong. Let's take a look at our Steve's Workshop block right now. All 4 of these are going, and we are making way more than enough firm tofu. Now the problem was, the resonant retrievers that I had over here that were handling both banks of these, I didn't have that set to round robin. So it was doing the nearest first. So it was doing like, I don't know, the first 5 or 6 of these on both sides. And then like the rest of them all the way down the line were completely full of firm tofu. So yeah, that is something to really remember when you are doing retrievers, is make sure you round robin. So you're not leaving like your other machines at the very end, you know, not doing anything. So I reworked a lot of this the cabling, the piping. Yeah, all of these guys right here, they go underneath here and they connect to this bank, which are all connected. And this all goes down under and connects to all of these. So all 4 of these banks of our pressers are all connected to that same pipe network, right? And then that comes over here and up and then into this resin retriever, which is pulling out the firm tofu round robin style. So if we look at this one right here, this will either get to like 6 or 7 before it pulls, the resonant retriever pulls the firm tofu out of its inventory, which, you know, is not too bad. I was getting kind of concerned that these would back up, which would back up into, whatever these things are called, the transfer node items. Yeah, I was afraid that these would get backed up and these would start scanning for available inventories, which, you know, would eventually cause more work than the game needs to handle. Yeah, you can see it's down to 3 again. So it's pulled out of its inventory. And I was looking at our deep storage unit that I set up to handle all of our new excess firm tofu, and we are making a net gain. We are positive on the firm tofu. So even with that Steve's Workshop going and all 4 of those auto crafting things going, we are still making more firm tofu than what we are using, which means we can make a heck of a lot more power. But also, the fact that all 4 of those are going, we're making twice the amount of this beef Wellington that we were before. So this number is going to be increasing way faster. Yeah, we're going to be making a lot of power here, guys. I don't think we've even started to tap the amount of power that we can get out of this thing. But I would like to be able to get these things down into the 64 times blocks eventually. I was looking at doing that before. And the culinary generator times 64... we need this transfer node hyper energy, which requires the bedrockium ingot, which is a MOX nuclear fuel smelted. And to get that, we need plutonium, right? So we could do this, but we'd use up our plutonium supply, which we're trying to acquire a lot of for the RTG fuel or whatever. Anyway, so I brought some more blocks here so I can cover up these pipings and all of this, get everything all buttoned up. Yeah, it feels a lot nicer here. I'm getting some kind of frame rate issue right now. I don't know why, but it definitely feels a lot nicer here without all those rendered items going through those pipes. So working around here won't be a big deal. Now, I don't think I even looked at this to see what we are doing. Yeah, we are using a lot of stuff right now. And this one is still climbing. So what I think I'm going to do, I think I've spent enough time here. Everything's going to be going. We're making a lot more power than what we were at the start of the episode, which is good. We can still make a lot more power if I make more culinary generators. That's something we'll look at doing in the future. But what I think I'm going to do is turn on our lag machine here and just walk away. Let this thing do its thing. And we'll move on to something else. Oh my goodness, the frames. The frames! Alright, so here we are back in our nuclear portion of our base. Let's go ahead and put it on our nuclear reactor suit. We'll come in here and take a look at the reactor. So I want you guys to notice something. Do you hear that? Yeah, neither do I. I turned off the IC2 sound. So this reactor is actually going. Things are happening here. We are producing EU. But I turned off all the IC2 sounds. I just couldn't handle it anymore. I tried getting used to it, but since it uses its own sound system and you can't turn it down inside the game, nope, it's gone. So I wanted to see how we're doing on the depleted uranium. We got exactly half a stack in there, and our quad fuel rods are doing work over here. I have made up a bunch of these, put them into this hopper, and they're just automatically feeding into the nuclear reactor and replace these guys when these get depleted, and this resident servo pulls them out. Right. So we got 32 of these things, which is awesome. So we can take these. Let's go ahead and close this, and we'll go and spray ourselves off, get rid of all the radiation poisoning on our suit. We'll go ahead and take these over here to our thermal centrifuge. Which one is it? This one? This one. All right, so we'll put these right here in our thermal centrifuge. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Maybe I'll just turn the servo off for now. No. Okay, so that servo is off. So what do we get? So we get 4 tiny piles of plutonium, 16 of the uranium-238, and some iron dust. Awesome. So this is a lot of good stuff. In fact, I'm going to turn that back on. We're going to be getting too many of these uranium-238s. I don't want to sit here and babysit this thing. So ignored. All right, so that goes over here and fills up our cyclic assembler, which is waiting for more of the uranium-235 to make the enriched fuel to put over here and make our fuel rods. All right, so I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on this and make sure we don't get too many in here. So yeah, we are getting the tiny piles of plutonium, and those are all going upstairs. And since the plutonium is nuclear fuel, I'm gonna keep my suit on here. So we got 28 of these plutoniums. Now we got 32. Let's go ahead and start. Oh. Well, I guess we could do that. Give me this 4. Yeah, now we got some plutonium. Awesome. So we can take these plus the uranium. We're getting some up here? No, it's all downstairs. Yeah, we can take that plus, I think it is just a few of these uranium. You know what? Let's take all of these out. I'll put them in there just to make sure that doesn't overflow. All right, so we can take these, I do believe, and put them with these. Did I do that wrong? Is it this way? Okay, so we can get MOX nuclear fuel out of that, and then we could smelt that into a bedrockium ingot. Not sure if that's what we want to do. What I was kind of hoping to do is get that RTG fuel, which I forgot the recipe for. Ah, it's dense iron plates. Okay, well, let's do that. Iron plate. Cool. There's this thing. And 3 of those. I feel like I've done something wrong. What did I do wrong? Plutonium. Dense iron plate. Oh, those aren't dense. Okay. Yeah, I definitely did something wrong. Iron plates. We need the dense ones, which means I have to go and put those in the compressor. Oh, man. I wasn't expecting to have to use the compressor. All right, well, let's sprint jump over here real quick, I suppose. There's our compressor. And the wrong way. I guess I'll just compress these. We have to put these to the metal former. Metal former on rolling. Yeah, this goes pretty quickly. So that is another dense plate. So we got 6 of those. That's actually all we needed, right? Was just 3 on each side and then the plutonium down the center. Cool. So we can go ahead and make ourselves pellets of RTG fuel. Nice. So we've been waiting on this for a long time and we finally got it. I'm kind of curious. Oh wait, no, all this stuff is going up here, right? So how much more plutonium? We got 80 more of these things. So we can do that. Those. Yeah, we are still making more, it looks like. So we got 10 more plutonium, which means we can make a few more of these things, which is really awesome. So what I'd like to do is start jumping into the IC2 stuff. I think we briefly mentioned this last episode. So we need to make ourselves a scanner. The scanner we can put in a crystal memory plus this pellet of RTG fuel, and it will learn that. Okay, so then we can take that plus the replicator and replicate more of these with enough UU matter from the mass fabricator. So yeah, that's some things we can do. I was kind of curious to see how much of this stuff we were going to have, and it looks like we got 11 plutonium plus 2 tiny piles, which is really cool. So that means we can make another one of these if we want to. What are all the uses of this thing before we go any further? So we have to make MOX nuclear fuel. We just saw how to make that a moment ago, plus one of those. And we can get iridium ore. This is probably something else we want to put into the scanner. and figure out how to do that. So that costs 80 million RF. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Okay, so we are going to need the Pellets RTG fuel eventually to make the creative energy cell. What else can we use that for? A mob grinder from Draconic Evolution. That might not be a bad use of it, but we have to make all these things and mana dust. That's probably not that bad, actually. The Draconic chest. We can make a Draconic chest using one of these things. That's really awesome. Okay, what else can we make? Miniature black hole, so we can make our own portal gun. We can start into big reactors because we need one of those to make the Yellorium fuel rod. We're actually going to need a few Yellorium fuel rods to make a proper big reactor, but that's something else we can use it for. And it looks like we can also get all the raw materials back out of it if we wanted to. Okay, so we'll probably make one for the iridium ore. And we might look at making a Draconic chest. Maybe. I don't know if it's necessary actually to have one of those. So we might not do that. Portal gun would be really cool, but I don't know if that's necessary either. I'd rather just find one, to be honest. Okay, so let me go ahead and get some of this crafting done. I'm going to make all 3 of these machines, and we'll be right back, guys. Alright, guys. Well, I've been doing a little bit of crafting here, and I got one more piece to do, and I thought we would do it together since it involves some stuff that we haven't really seen so far in this series. So far, I have created... What did I create? The scanner and the mass fabricator. So we are working on the replicator, and this is a little bit of a crazy recipe. We need the reinforced glass, reinforced stone, 3 teleporters, 2 HV transformers, and an MFE. So we got a lot of this stuff ready to go here, and then the transformers are made with these advanced RE batteries. Yeah, so we got to put one like that. There's an HV transformer, and we can put another one right here. There's another one. Looks like I made enough for more, which is fine. No problem there. So what else do we need here in the top? Okay, we need the reinforced stone and the teleporters. Let's get the teleporters out of the way because I'm pretty sure I have everything ready to go for those. Yeah, that was weird. A little bit of lag not filling the thing in. We've seen that before though. Okay, so there's our 3 teleporters. So the only thing left is that reinforced stone. So I went ahead and made myself a CF sprayer, construction foam sprayer. And we need to fill this full of CF powder that's been enriched. So I'll just make a few of these. So it's just that stone dust we've been getting from the uranium processing through the ore washing plant. Some clay and some sand is not super expensive. And then we also need iron scaffolding. We have to spray that construction foam onto iron scaffolding, let it harden, and then we can get the reinforced stone. Okay, so CF sprayer, we have to turn the CF powder into construction foam and fill it into the CF sprayer. So we need to come over to, do we have a thing up here for that? Ah, there it is. That's right. I put it on this upper level right here. Okay, so fluid, solid canning machine. So we need to do fluid enrich, tank or cell. And I think we put that there. Cool. And then it puts the construction foam over here. Now something we need to do, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this so it stops putting water into that machine. Can I get that back? Can I get, thank you. So I'm going to do this so it stops putting water in the machine. Let's go ahead and do, I guess we'll do that many, maybe 4. Okay, so then we can switch tanks. Now the reason why I want to do this is because our water tank would normally be filled over here. And when this runs out of the construction foam, this would fill with water. And then we'd have water in both tanks, and that's just a pain to deal with. So just disconnect the water when I'm doing this, and it's all good. So then we can put this guy right here, and I think, let's see, canning, drain from cell into tank, fill cell from tank. This is what we want. Okay, so there we go. We'll just do 10 for now. I think that's what we're going to do. So, oh, I guess it does it all at once. Yeah, there we go. 3,000 millibuckets left. Cool, so that is all done. Well, you know what? That was really quick. I thought I had to do each individual block. Let's just go ahead and lay them all out. I wonder how far this goes. Does it do the whole thing? No, it stops at a certain point. Okay, we got 2 remaining, and this thing has just a little bit left. Okay, there we go. Well, one of them hardened. Now, what I saw is that it says that this randomly hardens like that, or you can go and grab some sand. Where's our sand? If you click sand on it, it should instant harden them. That's what the wiki says, and I think I've done that before. Yeah, there we go. So we can just wait, or we can just use some of our sand and make it instantly where we want it to be. Cool, there we go. And I assume we should use our hammer on there and do 3 at a time. Maybe I should have laid this out in a better thing so I can mine 9 of these at once. Okay, well anyway, there we go. There's our reinforced stone. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up that recipe real quick and we'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, so all of those 3 machines are finally completed. I started making these crystal memories, and this is what we need to put into the scanner for it to scan a certain item. And then we have to put this crystal memory into a pattern storage, and that is how the replicator can read the stuff from this crystal memory. Anyway, it's a little bit more complicated and more in depth than what we have time for the rest of this episode. So what I thought we'd do is take this mass fabricator and go hook this up and see what we can do. So this says it takes 512 EU per tick, and our MFSU back here makes 2048. Now normally you'd think that'd be too much power and the machine would explode and all this stuff, but I believe all that stuff has been turned off since we're pumping that amount of power into all of these other machines, and these things are supposed to only take 32 RF a tick, but I think we should be fine. So I'm gonna set the mass fabricator right there. And yeah, we are now drawing power and it's doing progress. Cool. So this is going to make 1 millibucket, 1 whole millibucket. We need 1,000 of those for 1 bucket. So it's going to make 1 millibucket when this gets to 100%. This takes a minute to do. We can speed it up by putting in speed or the overclocker upgrades, I do believe. So we got 1 whole millibucket here, guys. We're almost to somewhere. But yeah, that's our first bit of UU matter, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, we're going to need a whole lot of this stuff. So we can also put in scrap. So we need to set up recyclers and start piping stuff into recyclers. And the recyclers produce scrap. And we can put scrap right here, and that is used as an amplifier. So it makes this produce, or I guess it makes a progress meter go that much faster when we have scrap production in here. So that is something we're going to have to look at doing, is making scrap. Can I do that? No, I'm going to have to get the fluid ejector upgrade this thing. I think this might be new since the last time I've messed with this. You know, I think I have an electric motor. Let's go ahead and make one of those, because why not? Yes, I do have a couple of extra electric motors. Now, like we've seen before, we have to click on, I think like this side of a block, and we would set this to, automatically eject. No, okay, so I guess we got to click on this on the floor. Automatically output to the top side. Yes. And then we can put this right in here like so. Yeah. And now it's putting all of our UU matter into our drum here. We got 4 whole millibuckets, guys. It's going to be pretty awesome. Now I wonder, let's take some of our overclocker upgrades. How is that going to do on our power? Oh, we can't put overclockers in here. I thought we could. I guess we can't. Okay, well, there goes that out the window. And how are we doing over here on power? It is draining this. Okay, so we're going to have to get away. We're filling up our MFSU that much faster. And I think I just might have to hook up some more of these HV wire connectors from Immersive Engineering. Hook those up in such a way that's touching more faces of this thing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, this is the first step. We are now making UU matter. Pretty cool. I guess what we could do is make one of these MOX nuclear fuels, which is 3 of those plutonium and 6 of the uranium-238, and then put that with that pellets of RTG fuel that we made earlier. So a lot of plutonium going into this. And we are finally going to make our radium ore. Now, I know people are saying that we should go to the runic dungeons and all of this stuff, but you know, guys, whatever. We're making a lot of power. This can happen over time. We'll get our first iridium ore manually. If we can ever get to the runic dungeons, set up the portal and check it out, and we get this stuff a little bit faster, that'll be awesome. But for right now, you know, I'm fine with this. We are going to be making that plutonium at a decent rate. In fact, I think we still have a decent amount left. I have to have my hazmat suit on because that stuff will kill me otherwise. Let's check our plutonium supply. No plutonium here. Maybe I put them all downstairs. Yeah, okay, so we got 8 more plutonium and then 20 more tiny piles. So we, oh, I got my hazmat suit on. I thought I accidentally clicked it. Yeah, so we have this stuff here, so we can continue to use that for other things, which is pretty cool. Oh, I also forgot We have these that we can go ahead and put through the thermal centrifuge as well. So yeah, we can go ahead and cook those down, get some more plutonium out of that, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, guys, I think we're going to go and wrap the episode up here for today. Yeah, a lot of crafting, lots of stuff with this IC2. I would like to move on beyond this mod and start looking at big reactors. Whoops, hit the microphone. Start looking at big reactors and other such power production. But, you know, can't do that just yet. We still got to reach the point where we're making enough power. We're making UU matter. Yeah. We still got a little ways to go with IC2 and EU power before we can move on beyond it. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you did like it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.